Chapter 1. Can you be cruel enough to sadden me thus with reproaches? Germans speak, I suppose, bitterly when they are in love. Bear it I must when the gossips bring forth accusations. I'm guilty, or am I not? But alas, all of my guilt was with you. Clothes that you've given bear witness for envious neighbours that the poor widow no more grieves for her husband alone. Did you not thoughtlessly visit me in the disguise of a cleric, muffled all up in a cloak, hair all rounded behind? Who was it chose that grey monk if not you? Well then a prelate now is my lover, who is my prelate but you? Never, incredible as it may sound in this clerical city, has any cleric brought me, swear it I will, to his bed. I was sufficiently poor, sad to say, I was young. The seducers noted it well. Falconer ogled me often enough. One of the pimps for Albani with billets do very impressive called me to Ostia once. Quattro Fontani next time, who was it did not appear there? Why, who but the very same girl who hated with all of her heart stockings both violet and red? For in the end you poor girls are the ones who are sure to be cheated. So said my father, although mother was not much impressed. Father was right. Here I stand in the end being cheated and scolded. You don't believe your own words, they're your excuse to escape. Go then, unworthy of women are men, we who carry your children next to our hearts. In these hearts' loyalty we bear you too. As for you men, when you've poured out your potency in our embraces and your desires dissipate, love with them passes away. These things expressed, and taking her child from its chair, my beloved presses it close to her heart, kisses it, tears in her eyes. I'm now so very ashamed of myself for having permitted gossip of neighbours to spoil picture so eloquent. For a short moment a fire may burn darkly while smoke swirls about it. Water dashed on the coals suddenly smothers their glow. Rapidly then renewed heat overcomes those lowering vapours, sends up a flame that anew bright and more powerful gleams. Roman 9. How very happy I am here in Rome when I think of the bad days far back there in the north, wrapped in a greyish light. Over my head there the heavens weighed down so dismal and gloomy, colourless, formless, that world round this exhausted man lay. Seeking myself in myself, an unsatisfied spirit, I brooded, spying out pathways dark, lost in dreary reflection. Here in an ether more clear now a lustre encircles my forehead. Phobos the god evokes forms, clear are his colours by day. Bright with the stars comes the evening, ringing with songs that are tender, and the glow of the moon brighter than northern sun. What blessedness mortals may know! Am I now dreaming, or welcomes Jupiter, Father, as guest, me to ambrosial halls? See, I lie here extending my arms toward your knees. I am praying hospitality's god Jupiter Xenius. Here, how I am come to this place I no longer can say. I was seized up by Hebe, 'twas she led to this sacred hill. Did you command her a hero to seek and deliver before you? Maybe she erred, then forgive. Let her mistake profit me. Does not Fortuna, your daughter, when strewing her glorious presence after the manner of girls, yield to each passing whim? You, O hospitable God, will by no means now banish a stranger from your Olympian heights back to the base earth again. Poet, come to your senses. Forgive me, Jupiter, is not Rome's Capitoline hill second Olympus to you? Suffer me, Jupiter, here, and let Hermes guide me at last, then past Cestius' tomb gently to Orcus below. When you were small, you say, neither did others consider you fair, nor even your mother find praise. And I believe it, till you grew bigger, developing quietly over the years. I picture you to myself as an unusual child. Also the blossoms on grapevines are wanting in shape and in colour, although the fruit when it's ripe pleases both mankind and gods. Roman 11 kindling autumnal fire in a rustic convivial fireplace, how the sticks crackle and spew flames and glittering sparks. strikes me especially pleasant this evening. Before all my tinder dies away into coals, coals then to ashes decline, she will be back, and new faggots as well as big logs will be blazing, making a festival where lovers will warm up the night. Then in the morning officious she'll leave the bed of her lover, rouse adroitly the flames out from their ashes anew. Cupid has lent to her above others the gift of cajoling up from the ashes desire, just when slumber's begun. Roman 12, all of those greats, Alexander, Caesar and Henry and Frederick, gladly would share with me half of their hard-fought renown, could I but grant them my bed for one single night, and its comfort. But the poor wretches are held stark in cold Orchian grip. Therefore, ye living, rejoice that love keeps you warm for a while yet, until cold leather anoints, captures your foot in its flight. Chapter 2. They are for you, O ye graces, just a few leaves by a poet onto your pure altar laid, buds of the rose beside, offered in confidence. Artists enjoy ateliers which are furnished so as to make for a space pantheon-like in decor. Jupiter lowers that godly brow while his Juno looks upward. Phoebus takes forward strides, shaking his curly head, while phlegmatic Minerva peers down on us. Frivolous Hermes seems to be looking askance, roguish, though tender as well. But it's to Bacchus, the sensuous dreamer, Cythera sends glances bathed in sweetest desire. Even in marble they are damp. Thinking about his embrace and its pleasures, she seems to be asking, shouldn't our glorious sun here at our side stand erect? Roman 14, can't you hear voices, beloved out on the Via Flamina? Reapers are now going home, back from harvesting grain. They had journeyed to Rome from afar, and here plaited for Ceres wreaths, which the Romans today scorn to make for themselves. Festivals no longer celebrate Ceres, the nourishing goddess who replaced acorns of old, giving man golden wheat. Let us commemorate her then ourselves in festival private. Two constitute a whole tribe when they are two in love. Have you by any chance heard how that mystical, strange celebration followed victorious troops back from Eleusis to Rome? Greeks were the ones who began it, and only to Greeks they proclaimed it even within Roman walls. Come to the sanctified night. Those who were not of the cult kept their distance. Neophytes trembled, waiting in garments of white, symbol of all that is pure. Then the initiates must aimlessly wander about through the eerie circles of figures as if pilgriming through their own dreams. Snakes on the ground were writhing about. Now virgins came bearing caskets securely locked, richly wreathed with grain. Surely the gestures of murmuring priests must contain some deep meaning. Impatient acolytes wait, anxiously hoping for light. Not until after many a testing and trial did they discover what within sacred ring secretive image concealed. What was this mystery other than this, that Demeter, goddess, once upon a time had to a hero been kind? It was to Jason, powerful king of the Cretans, she granted of her immortal self hidden sweet parts to explore. That made the fortune of Crete. The marital bed of the goddess soon grew pregnant with grain, heavy her bounteous fields. As for the rest of the world, it languished away while Ceres, derelict of her true task, dalliance offered in love. Now the initiate youths, having followed this tale, all astonished, turned and beckoned their loves. Love, do you comprehend? See there the sacred shade beneath that bushy-boughed myrtle. Our satisfaction will there scarcely endanger a world. Roman 15, Cupid is always a scoundrel, and if you believe him, he'll cheat you. Here's what the hypocrite said. Trust me just once more this time. I have the best of intentions toward you who have now dedicated. I recognize it with thanks, life and writings to me. Lo, I have followed you hither to Rome, and I'd like to do something here in this far-away land pleasing to such an old friend. Every traveller I've ever known has complained of poor treatment. He whom I recommend treatment delicious receives. You've now regarded with awe all the structures which lie here in ruins, cultivated your eye, sensing each hallowed space, how you've revered the formative will of those ancient artists. In their own ateliers often I've visited them. As for their works, why, I formed those myself. Now this time I'm boasting not. Oh, come now, admit what I am saying is true. Where are your own creations, your service to me having slackened? Where is invention's glow now? Where is the colour all gone? Friend, do you hope you can create again? The school of the ancients yet remains open. Its gates, years have not closed them to you. I am eternally young, and as teacher I still love the young ones. Wisdom that comes with old age pleases me not. Listen here, wasn't antiquity young when those fortunate ancients were living? Happy then be your life too, in it antiquity lives. Where will you find a fit theme for your song? It is I must provide it. As for a style truly grand, love can alone give you that. All of these claims that sophist asserted, could I contradict him? I am wont to obey when my commander decrees. Treacherous now he is keeping his word, giving me themes for my poems while he is stealing my time, potency, presence of mind. Gazing into her eyes, holding hands, giving kisses, exchanging syllables sweet and those words lovers alone understand, murmuring our conversations we stutter in sweet oratory. Hymns of such sort pass away, wanting prosodical tact. Goddess of morning, Aurora, as friend of my muse I once knew you. Has the unprincipled god, Cupid, seduced you now too, so that these mornings you come as his sweetheart, awakening me at his festive altar again where I must celebrate him? Here on my breast flows her hair, an abundance of curls, while her head rests, pressing my arm as it's bent, so as to pillow her neck. What a delicious condition, if only these few tranquil moments could in my memory fix firmly that image of joy when the night rocked us to sleep. But in slumber she's moving away now, if from my side turns, as she goes leaving her hand in my hand. Love in our hearts makes us one, as the genuine need there stays constant. Only returning desire knows oscillation or change. Gently her hand presses mine, now she opens her eyes and is looking into my own eyes. No, don't. Let my thoughts rest on your form, please close your eyes. They are inebriation, confusion, they rob me all too soon of the joy quiet reflection affords. Grand are the forms of this body and nobly positioned each member. Had Ariadne lain thus, Theseus never had fled. Only a single kiss for these lips, and then, O Theseus, leave her, look at her eyes, she's awake, now you're eternally bound. Romans 16 boy, won't you light me a lamp? But dear master, there's light in the sky yet. Don't waste your oil and the wick, don't close the shutters so soon. Only the houses are blocking the sun there, it's not yet the mountains. Until the curfew shall ring, full half an hour must pass. Wretched young fellow, be gone and obey me, ere my loved one is coming. Lamplight, console me till then, harbinger warm of the night. Romans 17 poets of old in chorus cried out against those two serpents, making them horrible names, hated in all of the world. Python the one, the other the Hydra of Lerna. These monsters both have now been destroyed, thanks to the deeds of the gods. Fire-breathing, venomous once, they no longer now depredate our flocks and meadows and woods, fields of golden grain. How is it then that some spiteful god in his wrath has raised from the poisonous slime offspring so monstrous again? There's an insidious viper creeps into the loveliest gardens, lying in wait to attack all who seek pleasure therein. Noble Hesperian dragon, I call you courageous and forthright, boldly defending your own beautiful apples of gold. As for this worm, why he is not guarding at all, for his presence sullies both garden and fruit, till they deserve no defence. Secretly coiled beneath bushes, where he befouls the sweet wellsprings, turning to poisonous drool Cupid's life-giving dew. Happy Lucretius knew how in his day to forego love completely, fearing not to enjoy pleasure in anyone's arms. Fortunate ancient Propertius, for you a slave fetched the girls down from the Aventine hill, from Tarpeia's grove. Cynthia then, when driving you out of such unchaste embraces, found you unfaithful, it's true, but she did find you whole. Who would today dare attempt to escape from fidelity's ennui? Love does not hold one back, only concern for one's health. Even the woman we love may afford us uncertain enjoyment. Nowhere can feminine lap safely encouch a man's head. Matrimonial beds insecure and so's fornication. Husband, lover and wife pass to each other the hurt. Think of those ages of gold when Jupiter followed his urges, chose Callisto one day, turned to Semele the next. It was important to him to find thresholds of temples so sacred pure, when, enamoured, he sought powerful entry to them. Can you imagine the ragings of Juno if in love's skirmish poisonous weapons on her by her own spouse had been turned? But we neo-pagans may not after all be abandoned entirely. Yet there is speeding a god mercifully over the earth, quick and assiduous. Everyone knows him and ought to adore him, herald of Zeus, Hermes, the healing god, although his father's temple be fallen, and though of its pillars scarcely a pair yet records ancient glory adored, nevertheless the sun's place of worship still stands, and forever will there the ardent requests alternate with the thanks. Only one favour I beg of you, graces, I ask it in secret, fervent my prayer and deep out of a passionate breast. My little garden, my sweet one, protect it and do not let any evil come near it nor me. Cupid will hold out his hand. Oh, and entrusting myself to the rascal, I beg you please may I do so in pleasure with no danger or worry or fear. Roman 18 I cannot think I'd have gone with Julius Caesar to Britain. To the Popina right here, Florus would tug me with ease. Fogs of the dreary north remain a more baleful remembrance than in the kitchens of Rome tribes of assiduous fleas. After today, I'll remember you even more kindly, taverners, you austeriors as you are called, aptly by those here in Rome. That was the place I encountered my mistress today with the uncle whom she so often deceives, so that she can have me. Here's where I sat at a table surrounded by good-natured Germans. Over on that side the girl, finding a seat for herself next to her mother where, frequently shifting her bench, she arranged nicely for me to perceive profile and curve of her neck, speaks just a little more loudly than women in Rome are accustomed, significant glance as she pours, misses the glass with the wine so that it spills on the table, and she with a delicate finger over its surface can draw circles in damp arabesque, her name entwining in mine, while my eyes most eagerly follow all that her fingertip writes. She is of course well aware that I am watching, so finally makes the V of the Roman 5 with a virgule before. Quickly, as soon as I've seen, she interlaces the circles, reducing them all to ornatist patterns, but still the sweet Roman 4 stood as engraved in my eye. I sat there mutely and biting my passionate lips almost bloody, half from delight at the ruse, partly from stifled desire. Such a long time until dark, then another 4 hours of waiting. Sun, who tarries on high, contemplating Rome, greater never you've nor shall you in future see greater than Rome, O sun, as your priest Horus enraptured foretold. Tarry no longer today. Go seek other realms beneath heaven. Sooner depart and leave Rome's 7 famed hills to me. Please do the poet a favour and shorten the glorious hours which the painter devours, eagerly filling his eyes. cast now but one ardent glance while descending on noble facades and cupolas, pillars, and, last, up at the obelisks, then hastily plunge to the ocean. Come view all the sooner tomorrow that which, for centuries now, gods have let you enjoy. Italy's shoreline so long overgrown with moist reeds, elevations sommely rising to shades cast by the bushes and trees. First were but few simple dwellings here, suddenly sunlight discovered nations enlivening hills teeming with fortunate thieves. Onto this spot they assembled such plunder, in your eye so splendid all earth's remaining orb scarcely was worthy of note. You watched a world being born here, watched the same world sink to ruin, and from those ruins yet arise world again greater perhaps. Oh, may I long by your light now behold this Rome. May the Parky spin the fine thread of my life slowly, taking great care. Oh, but come rushing the moment my love designated so sweetly. Wonderful, sound already the chimes. No, but I heard at least 3. Thus, my dear muses, again you've beguiled the monotony for me. Of this long interval while I was apart from my love, all of you now farewell. I'll be going now, don't be offended. For though you're proud, you'll concede, Cupid in my heart comes first. Roman 19, why did you fail to appear at the cot in the vineyard today, love? As I had promised I would, long I awaited you there. Dear, I had almost arrived when I saw by good fortune your uncle standing right there by the vines, looking now this way, now that. Stealthily I slipped away. Alas, what a misapprehension! You saw the scarecrow, that's all, nothing else drove you away. Reeds and some discarded garments all hastily cobbled together. I helped to make it myself, diligent in my own grief. Well, now his wish is fulfilled. The old gardener's most dissolute crow has left on this day unscathed nice little garden and niece. Roman 20, while there is many an unpleasant sound, I hate to hear barking worse than anything else. Bellowing dogs split my ears, nevertheless I do like to hear, and take pleasure in listening to the loud howl of the dog raised from a pup next door. That is the dog that so bayed one time at my girl that he almost gave our secret away when she was visiting me. Now, when I hear the dog barking, I think my beloved is coming, or I remember the time when long awaited she came. Roman 21 I can tell not only about a discomfort far greater than others, but of a horror besides, thinking of which will arouse every fibre in me to revulsion. My friends, I confess it, great displeasure I take lying alone in my bed. But it's a horror to fear on the pathways of love you'll discover snakes and their venom beneath roses of eager desire, that at the moment supreme, when I'm yielding to pleasure so fully, right at my head as it droops, hissing disease may approach. That's why Faustina as my companion in bed makes me happy. Loving she always remains faithful, as I am to her. Young men are aroused in their passions by obstacles and by excitement. I prefer to go slow, savouring pleasures secure. Is it not bliss to exchange tender kisses containing no dangers, sucking into our lungs, carefree, our partner's own life? That is the way our long nights of enjoyment are passed. We listen, breast against breast, to the storm, pouring down rain in the wind morning begins to dawn. We expect from these hours approaching blossoms that will adorn festive the coming new day. Quirites, permit me the joy, and may this of all pleasures on earth the first and the last, be vouchsafed all of mankind by the God. Roman 22R to uphold one's respectable name is not easy. The Lady Fame has an ancient foe, Cupid, my master and lord. Oh, by the way, have you heard of the cause of their mutual hatred? It's an old story, I think. Let me just tell it again. Powerful ever the goddess, but nevertheless to her fellows overbearing and rude, quite unendurable. She had by the gods since time out of mind at their banquets been dreaded, yelling with brassiest voice orders to great and to small. Once in her arrogance even maintained that she had subjected to her own will as her slave Jove's most illustrious son. One of these days, O father of deities, cried she in triumph, I shall be bringing you my Hercules as if new-born. Don't think that Hercules be still that boy whom Alcmene once bore you. His adulation of me makes him now god upon earth. When toward Olympus he gazes, I've no doubt you hope that he's looking piously toward your knees. Hardly. He's looking for me, worthiest man. Oh, the vision of winning my favour makes easy hitherto unexplored paths under that powerful foot. I do my part, for I meet him halfway and proclaim his adventures, praising his name in advance, even before he's begun. One day you'll wed me to Hercules. Hero who Amazons conquered that day will overwhelm me. Happily I'll call him spouse. All of the gods kept their counsel, and none would reply to the braggart, lest in a pique she devise vengeance against one of them. Cupid, escaping attention, slipped off to enslave, however, her hero, artlessly conquering by force of a beautiful girl, afterward decked out his couple in mute masquerade. Lion skin over her shoulders, the club leaned by much toil at her side. Wiry stiff hair of the hero larded with blossoms, her distaff laid in his fist, to conform strength to the dalliance of love. Scene now completed and ready to tease, he goes scampering, shouting for all Olympus to hear. Come, see these glorious deeds. Heaven and earth and the sun on his indefatigable journey over that infinite path never did witness the like. Everyone hastened, gulled by the dissolute boy who feigning earnest had summoned them all, fame by no means lagged behind. Which of the gods will now smile in sweet condescension on Cupid? Juno, delighted, of course, seeing a man humbled so. Fame, on the other hand, stood there ashamed, embarrassed, despairing. First she just laughed, saying, Gods, be not deceived, it's a mask. I know my hero too well to be fooled by disguises of actors. Soon, though in pain she perceived, Hercules none but he. Vulcan had not been 1,000th so vexed to discover his playmate under his meshes ensnared, caught with his own lusty friend, lying just as the wiles of the net at the most crucial moment deftly embraced their embrace, trapping their instant of joy. How those boys, Bacchus and Mercury, guffawed and freely admitted, sweet must be the repose lying on bosom so fine of this magnificent woman. They turned to Vulcan entreating, Do not release them just yet, let us inspect them once more. And the old cuckold was cuckold enough to comply with their wishes. As for poor Fame, in all haste, burning with wrath she must flee. Since then no armistice has been proclaimed to the feuding between them. Let her but favour a man, hot in pursuit is the boy. He whom Fame honours most can least defend against Cupid, and her most dangerous attacks strike the most morally proud. Whoever tries to escape him is dragged down from bad deeds to worse ones. Yes, he will offer you girls. If like a fool you despise these, only then do you feel from his bow the arrows most vicious. Heat of man's love for man, ardent desires toward beasts. For those ashamed of him Cupid reserves the bitterest passions, mingling for hypocrites their pleasure in vice and remorse. But at the same time the goddess seeks him, she's watching and listening. Should find him with you, ill-disposed will she be, frighten you, frowning austerely, contemptuously, violently casting into the worst of repute houses he's known to frequent. Ah, it's the same with me too. I haven't escaped her, the goddess. Jealously she seeks me out, sweet secret love to expose. I will submit to the ancient law, and in silence revere her. For when great lords fall out, I like the Greeks must atone. Roman 23, however comely be strength, or free and undaunted comportment, secrecy is for a man most important of all. Mighty subduer of cities, discretion, O princess of nations, goddess whom I adore, safely you've led me thus far. Now, though, what fate shall befall me? My frivolous muse has now opened, Cupid, the scamp, opens lips hitherto sealed so well. Difficult is it, alas, to conceal the shame of a monarch, hide it can neither his crown, nor a tight Phrygian cap. Midas has ass's ears, the first servant discovers, O horror, shame of this secret so weighs, Midas unburdens his heart. Into the earth for safekeeping the servant must bury the story, easing in this way the king, earth must conceal the tale. Reeds in a trice are sprouting and rustling in murmuring breezes. Midas, O Midas the king, bears the ears of an ass. Mine is a secret more pleasant, but even more difficult keeping. Out of abundance of heart eagerly speaketh my mouth. None of my lady friends dare I confide in, for they would but chide me, nor any gentleman friend, lest he be rival to me. Rapture proclaim to the grove, to the echoing cliffs perorate it. One can do that if one's young, or if one's lonely enough. I to hexameters tell, in pentameters I will confide it. During the day she was joy, happiness all the night long. Courted by so many suitors, avoided the snares that were set her now by one bolder than I, now by another in guile, cleverly, daintily, always slipped past them, and sure of the byways, comes to her lover's embrace where he so eagerly waits. Luna, don't rise yet. She's coming and must not be seen by the neighbour. Breezes rustle the leaves, muffle the sound of her feet. And as for you, little poems, O grow and flower, your blossoms cradling themselves in the air, tepid and soft with love's breath. Wafting betray to Quirites as Midas reeds did with cheap gossip, one happy couple in love and their sweet secret at last. Roman 24 I in the back of the garden, the last of the gods in a corner ineptly formed must I stand. Evil the inroads of time. Cucumber vines grow entwining about this primeval lingam, cracking it almost in two under the weight of the fruit. Faggots are heaped all about me against the cold of the winter, which I so hate for the crows settling then down on my head, which they befoul very shamefully. Summers know better. The servants empty their bowels and show insolent, naked behinds, filth above and below. I was clearly in danger of turning into filth myself, toadstool, rotten wood. Now by your efforts, O noblest of artists, I shall recover with fellow gods my just place. And it's no more than my due. Jupiter's throne, so dishonestly won, it was I who secured it. Colour and ivory, marble and bronze, not to mention the poems. Now all intelligent men look upon me in kindness. They like to form their own image of me, just as the poet has done. Nor do the girls take offence when they see me, by no means the matrons. None finds me ugly today, though I am monstrously strong. 1/2 a foot long as reward, your glorious rod, dear poet, proudly shall strut from your loins, when but your dearest commands, nor shall your member grow weary until you've enjoyed the full dozen artful positions the great poet Philaenis describes. About the elegies Goethe cultivated a special, Italianate hand for this portfolio of 24 elegies, so called because he was emulating the elegiasts of imperial Rome, Tibullus, Propertius, Catullus. The elegies have never before been published as here, together in the cyclical form of their original conception. Experts even denied that the 2 Priapeia, I and Roman 24, were by Goethe at all, although they are in the same hand as the rest. To be sure, these 2 are not numbered, so that I was long undecided as to just what their proper position might be. At one time I imagined they must belong at the middle of the cycle, where at the end of elegy Roman 13 Priapus mother summons her son. Obviously Goethe, just returned north from his 2 years in Italy, 1786 to 88, and alienated from prim, courtly friends, especially since he had taken a girlfriend into his cottage, had no thought of publication when he indited these remembrances of ancient Rome, but he did show them to close friends, one of whom was the wonderful dramatist Friedrich Schiller. In 1795, Schiller undertook a new periodical, Die Horror. This thoughtful and responsible man initiated the journal with an essay of his own, explaining how forms of entertainment are actually at the same time our primary modes of education. It makes for pretty difficult reading in our present, less interested epoch, but he did break the essay up with diversions solicited from the best minds of his era. For a discussion of all this, see Professor Worthy's page. For now it is enough to say that among Schiller's examples for aesthetic education, as he called it, were these elegies by his much-admired friend Wolfgang Goethe. Editor and author made substantial changes for propriety's sake, despite Goethe's having lashed out to the contrary in the first elegy, which he now suppressed along with the final one. My attempt has been, for the very first time by the way in any language, to restore Goethe's cycle to his early conception. Since I have been unwilling to intrude with learned notes, I must apologize for Goethe's many classical allusions, which were as familiar to his own readership as are, in our publications today, the dense references to media celebrities. Modern editors of what they call the Roman elegies bring abundant annotation, and often detail Goethe's own emendations. What I bring here is merely translated from his manuscript in the Goethe-Schiller archive in Weimar. Erotica Romana by Johann Wolfgang Goethe. Updated editions will replace the previous one. The old editions will be renamed. Creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works, so the Foundation and you can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the general terms of use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing project and may not be used if you charge for an e-book, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use copies of this e-book. Complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this e-book for nearly any purpose such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances and research. Project Gutenberg e-books may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with e-books not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start. Full license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work. Distribution of electronic works by using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg. You agree to comply with all the terms of the full www.gutenberg.org/license. Electronic works. Electronic work. You indicate that you have read, understand, agree to, and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1. E.8. Used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1, see below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg electronic works if you follow the terms of this electronic works. See paragraph 1, E below. Foundation or PGLAF owns a compilation copyright in the collection. Works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States, and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying, or creating derivative works based on the work as long as works in compliance with the terms of this agreement. For keeping the comply with the terms of this agreement, by keeping this work in the you share it without charge with others. 1. D. The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing, or creating derivative works based on this work, or any representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1. E1. The following sentence with active links to or other performed, viewed, copied, or distributed. This e-book is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away, or reuse it under the terms at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this e-book. Derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder. The work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1, E1 through 1, E7 or trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1, E8 or 1 E9, with the permission of the copyright holder. Your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1, E1 through 1, E7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. License terms from this work or any files containing a part of this one. E5. Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work, or any part of this electronic work, without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1. E1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg license. 1. E6. You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official www.gutenberg.org, you must at no additional cost, fee or expense to the user provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy, or a means of obtaining a copy upon request, of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the 1. E7. Do not charge a fee for access to viewing, displaying unless you comply with paragraph 1. E8 or 1. E9, 1, E8. You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or providing provided that You pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from you, already used to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing or by email within 30 days of receipt that he license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1, F3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy, if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free. 1. E9. If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing forth in section 3 below. 1. F. Effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the project electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored, may contain defects, such as but not limited to incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1. F2. Limited warranty. Disclaimer of damages except for the right of replacement or refund, described in paragraph 1. F3. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract, except those provided in paragraph 1. F3. You agree that the foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive, or incidental damages, even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1. F3. Limited right of replacement or refund. If you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it, you can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1 F4. Except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1. F3. This work is provided to you as is, with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1. F. 5. Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1. F. 6. Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this defect you cause. Electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers, including obsolete, old, middle-aged and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure archive foundation and how your efforts and donations can help. See sections 3 and 4 and the foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org 501. C. 3. Educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The Foundation's EIN, or Federal Tax Identification Archive Foundation, are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 41 Watchung Plaza #516, Montclair, NJ 07042, USA, +1 862 621 to 9288. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact Literary Archive Foundation public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment, including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform, and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. US laws alone swamp our small staff. Methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways, including checks, online payments, and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years, he produced and volunteer support editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the U.S., unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, we do not necessarily keep e-books in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org, Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new e-books, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new e-books.